Okay, so yep, I got all my. Oh no, I didn't get the quest down on the southeast side, so now I gotta go over there.
No doubt you made your way here at first mention of my
Experience gained
summons, yes?
210.
Of course, I would expect no less
Quest
from a
accepted. The
prospective
Deathstalkers.
Deathstalker. If you wish to join the Deathstalkers, Lord Verimathrus's elite guard, you will have to prove your worth. I will not lie to you, adventurer. This task could mean your death. I have some things that need attending to. I require the personal effects of Aster Hadron, a messenger who travels between Silverpine and the Undercity. I will leave the method of procurement to your discretion. It will be better for you if you know less of the nature of this business. Succeed, and I shall tell you more.
Time for one more trip back to the first zone.
You receive item. Shiny bauble. You receive loot. Sickly looking fish.
I forgot you can fish up a sword doing this, which is cool.
You receive loot. Raw long jaw mud snapper.
Yeah, I guess sent home from there, which was fun. Did a lot today though. Got like, you know, what, 60,000 LP and I don't know, something like 20 million in mining or something, and I only lost two Tristans and two ventures totaling 33 million. I'm not sure if that equals out or not. I think it's okay. I think I'm good. If not, I came close to breaking even. And I definitely got a Republic Fleet Firetail today. That was fun as hell.
You receive loot. Raw brilliant small fish. You receive loot. Raw long jaw mud snapper. You receive loot. Raw brilliant small fish.
Your skill has increased.
No, you didn't do it.
It's not too far away. Come on, come on. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. God, we're so close. There's 2 more of these.
You receive loot. Raw long john
I can
mud snapper.
taste the water coming down from the heavens. Come on. Keep going. Oh, breathe. Look at the texture of the water on the actual leaves as well. Now it's raining.
Graphics-wise,
Really
it's pretty good.
Is it not worth eating?
Is there combat?
Oh, he's done. How cool would that be? Right, let's go. That way.
Wow.
Still no sign of any sharks or anything, which I'm Oh, I've just said it. I just saw them. Or at least one. No, turn that way. I don't want them to hit this. Oh, look at this. No, don't do it. Oh my, could you imagine this? I read something one time that says anything you've ever thought of, it's more than likely happened. No matter how bad the circumstance, it's probably happened. With the amount of people that have been alive now, which is such a weird thing to think about.
Yeah.
So at some point, somebody's more than likely had a raft like this and seen a great white shark up close. You guys probably
Sure, it
know
happens
stories
all the
of them as
time.
well. Right, let's close that. We get off. Do we just leave that there? Is it going to be fine? Okay, there we go. Right. I'm much happier now. Oh, don't roll. Stay like that. Right, let's have a look around. So barrels, metal. I can't really bring anything back, though. Yes, we're looking for... What was it? The bottle. What's that? Is that a mattress? Sticks. Take those. Peppermint tea bag. Lemon tea bag. Ginger tea bag. Oh, God. That actually looks like something we can use. Oh, we can. You can brew your own tea. Okay, we've got another bottled note here. That's good. Look at that view. Out onto there. That's so cool. What else we got going on? Some bug repellent.
Oops.
You know what? Seeing as though we're on a new island, I don't know what's on here, so... Where is that shit? Give me that. Oh, there we go. Speak of the devil. Get destroyed. Gonna leave the turtle. Ooh, what's this? Line from here. We should be going right.
It's looking good. It's looking better than most games. It's weird.
Sticks. Take those. Peppermint tea bag. Lemon tea bag. Ginger tea bag. Oh, God. That actually looks like something we can use. Oh, we can. You can brew your own tea. Okay, we've got another bottled note here. That's good. Look at that view. Out onto there. That's so cool. What else we got going on? Some bug repellent. You know what? Seeing as though we're on a new island, I don't know what's on here, so... Where is that shit? Give me that. Oh, there we go. Speak of the devil. Get destroyed. Gonna leave the turtle. Ooh, what's this? Damaged air conditioner? God, there's just random crap. It's washing up on the shore. What's that? Oh, sticky note. Wait. That's going to give us one of the codes, right? That's what he said we needed to look for. What was his name, Danny? Let's see. We go here, and then radio tower notes. The beginning of the end. February 12th, 1985. 3 months on this cursed island, and it feels like a lifetime. Morden Pole Corp sold us a lie. What was supposed to be a straightforward resource extraction gig has turned into a descent into madness. The secrecy is
You receive loot.
suffocating.
Light letter.
We aren't told what we're really doing here, and every move is monitored by watchful supervisors. It's like being in a prison with no walls. As a technician,
Aggro.
my job is to keep the equipment running.
Discovered
No
bright
easy
water lake.
task given the
65
conditions.
experience gained.
Most of my
You feel
time
normal.
Oh, damn it.
is spent
You receive
on a
loot.
cramped
Rune letter
research
scrap.
ship or the new platform tower they're constructing.
Law number 1.
Yeah, let's listen to this because it's on my mind.
Welcome to another New World tournament video.
Thank
My
you,
name's
Ginger
Ryan,
loves
if you haven't been
MMOs.
around here. And in today's video, I want to address some of the biggest questions that you guys have been sending my way. This comes from what should your best build as a new player be? What should you be doing in the game? And the real big question, which we'll open this video off with, is should you start today? If you're a PC player, should you start? Should you return? What's the advantages, disadvantages? We're going to break it all down in this video. If you guys like New World content, if you like MMORPG content, well, that's what we do around here. And if you want to come check out more, be sure to find that subscribe button. It's somewhere around here, and if you do find it, let me know and sound off in the comments, just like all of these incredible people. In fact, on my last video, you guys really
Aggro.
brought home a lot of subscribers, so welcome in to all the new faces around here. I'm really glad that you're here, pushing the channel up to an incredible
You loot 9
almost
copper.
20,000
Aggro.
subscribers. So I'm truly humbled. I'm really glad you're here. A lot of you guys responded that you were surprised, and it really helped with the message of hope. That's something we do at the end of my videos. And yes,
You
that's
receive loot.
something that we
Linen
do
cloths
around
too.
here, and there's a lot of reasons for it, but
You loot
maybe
2
we'll
copper.
talk about that more in today's message of hope. But that's not why you most likely clicked on this video. Let's go ahead and dive in. So being that New World is out right now on PC, and if you have the means to play it, whether you have a PC that can run the game or you play it through GeForce Now, you can start now and get a head start when New World Eternum launches on October the 15th. Why that's an interesting kind of conundrum is that there's also Throne of Liberty. It's going to be coming out here in just another week, and there's going to be some hype.
Oh, it's in
around
a
that. You're gonna
week?
see me playing Throne of Liberty and more because, like, I'm interested. I love MMORPGs.
Yeah, I'll be doing Throne of Liberty,
I'm
definitely.
looking forward to checking out as well. So I won't be putting in a lot of time and effort into the base PC version between
receive
now
loot.
and
Linen cloths
launch,
too.
but I will be putting in some amount
You
of
loot 3
time, and
copper.
that's because your progression carries forward into the main game. You're not going to have the revamped storied and cutscenes, and you might want to
You receive loot.
experience that,
Religious
and you
spellbook.
can go back and experience that, or you can always create another character. But if you're really going to be diving into this game's story, honestly, there's nothing wrong with waiting. I think you're going to get a lot out of that. You're going to see so much marketing. You're going to see all the big content creators. You're going to see this wave of excitement of people coming back and checking out the game, because that is one of the things that New World does really, really well, is it hooks you like right out the gate. You can see the value. You can get excited about the combat. You can get excited about all these different aspects, and it feels like a real big jump in visual fidelity and in audio just direction, that you get this just immersive MMO action RPG experience right out the gate. And so I would say if you want to get that head start, there's nothing wrong with it. If you want to just buy the base game or pick up like the base game and the expansion, yes, you don't have to purchase New World Eternum. It's a one-time purchase, and there's no subscription, which I see a lot of people asking about. No, it's a buy-to-play action RPG MMO game, and I think that's going to work out very heavily in its favor when it comes to getting people into this game. It's less barriers for entry. That being said, though, if you have just the base game, well, when New World of Turnum launches, you will still be able to access the game. You just won't be able to access the expansion style content. That's the flail weapon, which is really incredible. That's the new
Really
Elysian
incredible. It's just a
Wilds.
weapon.
But you will be able to play
Aggro.
the revamped story. Like, they are really, I think, putting in the effort into this game. So if you're on the fence and you own the base game, you're like, well, maybe I should pick up the expansion,
You receive
and you
loot,
don't want to
chip
spend
cloth.
the $30. Well, you can
You
wait,
receive loot,
and you can
ruined leather
see
scraps.
when this game launches in October if it is a time to reinvest. But you will probably want to be picking up that expansion because it's got so many things, and everybody coming into consoles gets all of that right out the gate. There isn't buying the base game and then the expansion. New World of Turnum is that game, and that is what's going to be on consoles and on PC. And I would suspect that once the New World of Turnum is out on PC, you'll see that shift over on the PC version as well. They won't be
Aggro.
selling that in the expansion. Well, the time will tell. We'll see if I'm right or wrong when it comes to that prediction, but I could see that here. One final thought for your consideration. I always tell people this, like, I've got 6 kids,
receive
and
loot,
people end
meaty
up telling
battling.
me I have the patience of a saint.
You receive
And
loot,
that really,
broken
for
fang.
me, is very
Aggro.
true. Like, I've played
You
and
receive loot,
enjoyed
ruined
Final
leather
Fantasy
scraps.
1.0, for example. Like, I don't have any problem when games kind of, like, have their struggles, because especially when it comes to MMORPGs, I think it's almost kind of guaranteed that the games are going to have their struggles. That's why I
receive
want to
loot,
kind of
meaty
paint you
battling.
guys a picture. If you're like
You receive
me
loot,
in any
ruined leather scraps.
respect, and you are like, hey, I would really wish I could have checked out
Aggro.
Final Fantasy 14 1.0. I heard a lot of bad things, but now I would really wish that I had that opportunity to go and play it. That same thing feels true for New World, Turnum. You can go and play the game right now. They're not shutting it down, which is great. And if you're interested in having that storied experience, like, oh man, I remember when it was like this. I remember that. And
You receive loot,
remember when
ruined
we
leather
had
scraps.
to go and do all these things, and those things have changed. Remember when we didn't have this functionality? If you like that, I would probably encourage you to go ahead and check out the game anyway, just so you can have that experience in your back pocket, and that way later on you're not like, oh man, I really wish I played the game before it became what it became. I think
Aggro.
the other most
Discovered
important
bin whipping.
question that I
85
see asked
experience
a lot
gained.
is, what about my starting build? Which build is going to be best for me? What should I be playing as? And that's why I want to walk you guys through the archetype system. This is new as of
You receive
New
loot,
World of
rabbit's foot.
Turnum, and it doesn't limit your
You receive loot,
choices. You
string
can
wolf
be a
meat.
soldier with the sword and the hatchet.
receive loot,
You can
ruined
be
leather
the
scraps.
destroyer with the tank and the damage. Or once you get into the game and you are like, you know what, I really want to try bows. Well, you just pick up a bow and equip it. The game has a very flexible class system, but the archetypes give you some advantages right out the gate.
Aggro.
So let's start with the soldier. Soldier is going to have weaponsmithing increased, you're going to have mining increased, and you're going to have smelting. This is really where I think the big advantage comes in. It lets you pick kind of the weapons that you might be interested in more than anything else. But I think that as you play this game, you might be
receive loot,
surprised
string
by a
wolf
certain
meat.
weapon. Personally speaking,
You
my
receive loot,
favorite
light
build
leather.
is the life staff and flail. I like playing as a
Aggro.
healer. That's the build that I end up choosing, and you can see here it's not an option to play as. You have the Mystic, which is your healer or damage dealer. That's using the Void Gauntlet, which is also freaking cool
You receive loot,
as
small
well.
red
Let's
pouch.
take a look at them while we're here. You get
You receive loot,
Arcania,
dried
which
bat
allows
blood.
you to craft magical infused items.
You receive loot,
Harvesting
meaty battling.
allows you to have a higher level harvesting
receive
right
loot,
out the
ruined
gate.
leather
And
scraps.
weaving. Again, you can do any of these trade skills, any of these crafts, but this is just going to give you that benefit. So if you're looking to play in a healer, definitely pick up a Mystic. If you're looking at playing a tank, again, two different options when it comes down to soldier and the
Aggro.
destroyer. Personally speaking, obviously you can see here the weapons being the Great Hammer and the Great Axe are very intimidating and a lot of fun to play as. I think it's all
receive loot,
going to
light
be
leather.
about survivability. So between your tanks with the soldier and the hatchet, which offers a lot of abilities, take a look at what are your benefits, where again mining and smelting
Aggro.
are going to be added. Here you're going to get armoring, skinning, and leather working as benefits. So whatever you feel like you might be more inclined to, that's going to be your better starting tank, because immediately once you get in the game, picking up these weapons are going to be a breeze, whether that's from the market or from random chests and drops throughout the game. The Ranger is a damage focused
receive loot,
build.
light
You've
leather.
got the spear and you got the bow. This is a great combo, namely because whenever you're playing, having a level of ranged allows you to pull from far, but also then as they come in close, you swap over to the spear and really make them regret it. You get engineering, logging, and woodworking increases with the ranger. Musketeer, also a very kick-ass combo in which you get the musket and the rapier. You're also going to get armoring, harvesting, and weaving to go along with it. This is a very powerful combo. We'll talk more about stats and leveling here after we get through all of these. So just stick around if you're interested in that. Let's talk about our cultist. This is our mage. You can see fire and ice coming together with the fire staff and the ice gauntlet.
Your skill has
Also
increased.
coming with it, jewel crafting, mining, and schmelting as well. We've covered the mystics, so let's get to one of my favorite builds, the sword bearer. This is a damage tank style build. It really depends on how you want to build out your great sword here.
Aggro.
You also got the blunderbuss, which acts as a mid-range strength build style weapon.
Your
Now, the
skill
great
has
sword
increased.
does scale off of strength or dex. You can pick either or, so it does give you also some flexibility, especially if you wanted to maybe pick
You
a
receive
different
loot, linen
range.
cloth.
If you wanted to go great sword bow or great
lose
sword
7
Your
musket,
skill has
for
increased.
example. And I don't know why I said scored there. It is what it is, guys. Welcome to the channel. You get cooking increase, you get fishing increase, and you get leather
There it is.
increase. in
I
your
was like, when
weapon
do I get
skills.
my
And
weapon
that is
skill?
essentially the first question that's going to be asked. I say I always vote in on survivability for my first playthrough because, again, as I leveled up a tank and got that high leveled and had greater survivability while playing the game,
Aggro.
then I shifted over into Mystic because I really enjoyed playing as a healer. But hopefully from the archetypes you get a good idea of what you're looking
Scarlet Zealot
for
attempts to run
and
away in
how you
fear.
want to get started. Now, while you're playing and leveling, obviously one of
You
the
lose 7
fastest
copper.
ways is focusing in on the main story quest line. You can always figure out what that is from your journal and tracking down your main story. You also are going to have lots of side stories, side quests, factions, and more to get into. And this
Aggro.
is going to feed you with wonderful experience that's going to make it much faster. You also have a town board. Every town that you come to has a various different town project board in which you can have various different quests from turning in light rations, for example, to going and exploring dangerous
Scarlet Friar
areas
attempts
of
to run away in
interest
fear.
that you can then return to get some additional progress for the zone. And that's where progress is actually broken up
Nope.
into a couple of different categories. So let's get into some trouble here. Let's go ahead and attack this guy. You're going to see that it gets me 3 types of experience. Standing, I get weapon experience, and I get base general experience. Now, not every enemy is going to give you those kind of things, but it is important to be able to check it out. Also, if you are fighting something like a boar, you're going to want to skin them for additional experience once you knock them out. Now, congratulations, you've done some leveling up
Aggro.
as you've gained all this of a different experience. I'm going to focus in on territory standing. As you level up your territory, you're going to get several different buff opportunities from when you're in that territory. Now, personally speaking, I always like to pick on storage as an option.
Scarlet
You
Zealot
can
attempts to
then
run away in
continue
fear.
to pick different options, whether it's standing gains, station fees,
You loot 2 copper.
XP gains, storage
You
increases,
receive
and
loot,
more.
malachite.
At the end of the day, I don't think it's that
You loot 9 copper.
absolutely important. I would recommend against going against XP gains, namely because of how the game is set up in the end game at the moment, but it is going to be a choice up to you. From there, outside of that, you still have character level. Now, what's really important about this is that as you level up, you get various different stat attribute points. You can put those into any of these 5 categories.
Oh no,
Strength,
apparently you
dexterity,
can't even get a
intelligence,
weapon
focus,
skill
and
until level 8,
constitution.
I
Constitution
guess.
focusing
Or at
on
least a level 8
health
the first time.
increases. If you're curious as to see what does what scales with what, you can see the weapons listed on each of the bars.
Oh, my
If you
signet
have a
war.
weapon that
Oops.
benefits from that stat increase, you will see it circled with this little outline. That way you can tell what is ultimately that you need. Now, when it comes down to it, again, I like to focus in on both survivability, and that also means that I'm applying my strength. You can see here strength is increasing these 2 weapons that I'm focusing in on, so it's a good choice for me to level up. Constitution is always a really good choice as you level up because it continues to increase your overall max health. And the third category I want you guys to focus in on, and again, you can change these values. You're not going to be locked into it. You can always respec. But when it comes to your weapons and leveling them up, I always recommend focusing in on getting your 3 skills set up as quickly as possible. My second priority, unless there is a stat that is just absolutely incredible, like increased base damage by 15% when attacking foes are above 90% health, maybe you like that. Personally speaking, you lose that as soon as they're below 90%, so I wouldn't put that as a value. I like to upgrade my skills so that they are leveled up and maxed out as much as possible. So that's what I tend to focus in on perk-wise, but you do have these floating perks. Again, you can respec, you can change all of this. You're not going to be locked into a decision, so if you end up making a choice and don't like it, don't worry about it. It's going to be easy to get that cleared up. At level cap, there's a slight cost to it, not a real money cost, just in-game cost, which really is very, very minimal, to say the least.
Your
That's
skill has
what I
increased.
choose to focus in on when it comes to weapons, when it comes to stats, and when it comes to factions. Now, one thing I do want to highlight when it comes to your attributes here is you can see here my constitution. I've got 35, but I also have stats coming in a blue color. You can see that also coming in from strength. So what that actually means is that's tied into your gear. If I do a comparison, this new piece of gear gives me an additional 4 constitution. So stats don't just come from leveling up, they can come from the gear that you find out in the world, and equipping it is that easy. And you should be reviewing the gear that you have on occasion to figure out what ultimately is best needed for you. The other thing about gearing is you can see here various different gears have different level weights to them, like light or heavy or medium, things like that, which that's what you're going to end up seeing. This is going to affect how you move.
Your
and
skill has
dodge
increased.
in the game itself. If you're ever curious, this is what your equipment load gives you. In light equipment load, you're going to have an increase of base damage, you're going to have an increase of outgoing healing, you're going to have block stability as a decrease, your dodge is going to be a quick roll, your stamina is going to cost 50. You go down into medium and you can see here it's going to be a quick hop, so you lose the roll and it becomes a little bit of hop. You get a couple of other damage perks, bonuses, etc. up and down. That's going to end up making a change. And then in heavy, obviously, base damage is going down, your outgoing healing is going down, but you're going to have much better survivability and a much slower dodge. So just kind of play around with what you feel is best. Obviously, getting out of bad is a great way of surviving, but if you're not necessarily good at dodging, you can probably think about equipping heavy gear, and that's going to help you out. And with that, I hope that you have had your questions answered and that you've gotten something good out of this video. If you haven't, now we're going to jump in.
Maybe I'll go light armor like I did on my other character. Light armor, great sword. Oh no, I don't know. Plate is better, but oh boy, the dodge sucks so bad.
Into the message of hope. Now, I was asked the other day, how do you get over guilt? Feeling like you shouldn't or you can't relax, for example.
I don't like the message of guilt and I don't want it. I'm terribly sorry.
What's going on, friends? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about max level crafting in New World. Now, since the release of the game, Amazon have steadily kind of improved crafting and given you more options. Since the Rise of the Angry Earth expansion, we actually have the ability to make guaranteed max level gear score items. So that is 700 gear score items, and you can choose 2 or even 3 perks, so you can have the exact perfect item that you want. So if I want to make a helmet here with health, enchanted board, and refreshing, we can get exactly just that. So I'm going to be talking about the stages that you need to go, because this isn't something you can do straight away. It's not even something you can do once you get to 250 in the crafting level. You have to get to 250, and then there's quite a few steps after that as well. So we're going to break down those steps, talk about how you can do them, and that's generally what today's video is going to be about. As always, you'll be able to scrub along.
Fresh Start server excites me. I have a month. I got a month to get ready, and like I wish there was some way to do that, but there's not. There's no way to do that. It's annoying. Perhaps my shit's up in the family.
you know, the timestamps down below will mean you can scribble along for the sections in the video that you're interested in. As always, friends, if you guys enjoy these sort of videos, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment down below if you've got any other tips for your fellow crafters out there, and subscribe if you want to see more of this sort of educational New World content. And with that being said, let's kick off with this crafting guide. So it probably goes without saying, one of the first things you're going to need to do to craft max level items, and by that I mean we're talking about this top row here. We're gonna focus on armoring for this video, but I will, you know, if there's something different, I'll talk about it with the other crafts as well. You will need to get to 250 in your craft of choice. So if you want to make max level high gear score armor, or max gear score armor, if you want to do it with blunderbusses, for example, or spears, if you want to make jewelry, then you're going to need to get to 250. Now, in order to get to 250, you will need to buy the Rise of the Angrith expansion. If you don't have the expansion, but just the base version of the game, you're going to be stuck at 200. You might not even be at 200, you might be starting at level 1 or level 12 or something like that, and asking, Baggins, well, how exactly do I do that? What are the best methods when it comes to leveling up crafting? Well, I have 3 pieces of advice that I would say you should follow, 3 steps that you can go through when it comes to leveling up crafting. The first one is to take a look for scraps. Now, you might be getting these as you level up and as you go through your adventures in New World. They look like this. So they're called infused armor scraps. There's also infused jewelry scraps, infused weapon scraps, and then there's a lower tier version as well, which is valuable armor scraps, and this extends across all the different crafting categories. What you can do with these in your inventory or your storage shed is go to the relevant crafting station where you want to level up that particular type of craft. In this case, it's armoring, and I'm going to type in the word research. This will give me a couple of different options with my scraps here. So I have my valuable armor scraps. I can make 3 of these for a decent chunk of armoring XP down here, and then with the infused scraps, we can actually get a pretty large amount of armoring XP here as well. This was a process that took me from 200 to 250 on the day of the expansion. I had a lot of these scraps saved up because I've been playing the game for a very long time. I understand that not everybody is going to have tons and tons of scraps sitting around their inventory, but if you do have a few, it's definitely worth knowing that that is probably one of the best uses for them, even after you've maxed out your crafting, because you can get aptitude. You can also take some other crafting patterns that you might have sort of lying around and turn these into some armoring XP. It's not as much, but that is also something you can do as well. So basically just typing in the word research into the crafting station and seeing what you can make there with any scraps and spare materials you might have in your inventory. That's going to help you.
Oh, I got a free bag.
The next thing you want to do when it comes to
that'll be some money.
Crafting is taking advantage of the first time crafting bonus. So you can also kind of, this is denoted by the item kind of being in bold. So if it's glowing white, then you haven't crafted it before. Now, as I mentioned with my armoring, I pretty much did all of this just through the scrap system, so I didn't really have to go through and make a lot of things. But there is something to be said about the first time crafting bonus. I think it gets you triple the amount of XP, so let's go down and find something that I can actually make here. I don't think I have any materials on me, so I think there's a whole lot I can make right now. Here we go. So I finally found some things that I have materials for. So we have a linen shirt here, and this is going to give me 1,520 XP, but the base XP is only 490, so you can see that. So the first time that I make this 1,520, we'll go ahead and do that. And then we're just going to hit salvage on it because we don't actually need it. And we take a look at it again. This time I'm only getting 540. So yeah, it's like a 3 times XP modifier. Now I wouldn't want to keep making these over and over again because I could just drop down a couple of tiers and here's something else that I can get triple the XP for. So just generally going through items within what you have available to craft and making 1 of each, I think is probably one of the best ways to get that XP rolling and to get yourself towards that 250 milestone. Now, if you run out of things to use for your first time crafting bonus and you have to make something repeatedly, one thing that I always recommend is taking a look at the replicas. So this is under the Lazarus Instrumentality replicas, also the Garden of Genesis replicas. I think a lot of these, just using the cheapest materials that you can for each one, because these do give a tremendous amount of crafting XP. And these replicas exist for most categories. That you can have them with weaponsmithing, you can have them with armoring. I think they're there for engineering as well. Jewel crafting isn't going to be there. But we'll talk about that in a second. But yes, you will need spectral dust, or you will need sticky vines. You can go through and take a look. Generally, you can buy these off the trading post. If they seem expensive, don't go for it. But if you would be surprised that sometimes you can get quite a lot of these expedition materials for quite cheap. and they are very, very useful for the amount of XP that they give you, especially with that first-time crafting bonus in mind. Now, the third step that I would recommend following when it comes to maxing out your crafting is to check out this website. This is gaming.tools/new world, but I'll put a link to it in the description down below. You can choose which section you're interested in, so I want to level up my crafting.
Scarlet Friar attempts to run away in fear.
We're going to choose my current level of 100, but before we do that, actually, we're going to import our server prices from Barry. That's the server that I'm on. I'm level, let's see, I'm level 150. I want to get to level 250. We ask it to update, and then what it's going to do is going to calculate based on the price of materials on your server what you can make. So it's recommending that I make 944 pairs of infused silk leggings or 944 pairs of infused silk pants. So yeah, that's the options there. If we go to weaponsmithing or something else, or if we go to a different server, it might offer different alternatives. But generally, it gives you a pretty good idea of how many materials you need to stock up. And sometimes it can offer like a multitude of different paths as well, especially if we choose, you know, a high level over here, or give us more choices and stuff. I think it's a pretty good website. I wouldn't follow it exactly to the T, but it is something that is good to be aware of when it comes to leveling up your crafting. One final thing that I want to say when it comes to leveling your crafting is it is probably going to be expensive. There is no real way to get around it. You're either going to spend a lot of time gathering the materials, or you're going to spend a lot of gold gathering the materials. But it kind of is what it is, and in most cases, especially if you're making like 900 pairs of infused silk gloves, you're just going to be salvaging them afterwards. You can't actually sell them. There isn't really a market for infused silk gloves these days. However, that's not always the case. You can take a look at something like gemstone dust, for example. This can be a handy one to level up your jewel crafting with. If you buy a bunch of pristine gems off the trading post, especially if they're some of the cheaper ones like sapphire, for example, you usually won't go for too much. You can smash this up and then sell the gemstone and sort of recoup most of the gold that you invested into it. This same thing can potentially be done with Arcana as well. You can make infused regeneration potions, get yourself quite a lot of Arcana XP, and then sell the potions to recoup the gold on the materials that you've invested your time or gold into. So there are some cases, especially with Arcana and jewel crafting, and maybe even weaponsmithing with honing stones, where you can buy materials, make an item, and then actually sell it. But just want you guys to be aware that most of the time, it is a means to an end. You are going to be investing time and gold into the craft just to get it to 250, and you know, it is going to feel a little bit miserable along the way, because you're going to be spending a lot of time and gold and not really being able to make it back. So that covers getting the craft to the max level of 250. Now, unfortunately, once you do max out the craft, it isn't just a case of being able to go into your relevant crafting station and make a max level item. If we take a look at a mithril great axe here, using this lower tier recipe here, which only uses 2 prismatic leather, 3 prismatic planks, and 15 prismatic ingots, it's 635. And if we go down to the very expensive option here, which is where we get to choose all 3 perks, and we get to choose the attribute and stuff, even then we're only at 660. Now, the reason behind this is because there are a multitude of buffs that you have to acquire, which increase the crafting gear score. So specific to weaponsmithing, and the first thing that we can start with is a trade skill food. So we have this savory vegetable medley here, and it says it increases your gear score when crafting weaponsmithing items by 15. So if I go ahead and pop one of those, get it on the hotbar, and then we go back into the forge and type in mithril great axe again, we can see that first one, when we lock in the highest tier materials, comes out at 650. When we go down to that very expensive version of the great axe, we are now at 675. Obviously, we're still not all the way there to 700, and that is because there is like I say, several other steps that we have to jump through as well. So the first one, we already covered, that is the trade skill food. You can buy this off the trading post. You're looking for savory vegetable medley if you want weaponsmithing. For jewel crafting, it is glazed melon bread. For armoring, it is spicy cabbage soup. For arcana, you're looking at the sweet wild berry infusion. And for engineering, it is the herb crusted vegetables. Now again, this is all going to be covered in the written guide, and as always, pause the video, wind it back if you need to sort of write this down.
Yeah,
it
it's
does
so
take a little bit of time
stupid.
getting used to all these sort of different steps that you need to jump through. The next stage of improving your gear score for crafted items comes in the form of equipping things to your character. So right now I have the armorer set on. So we have the armorer hats, armorer shirt, armorer gloves, armorer pants, and armorer shoes. And this exists for every other type of craft in the game as well. So if I type in the word expertise, which is going to show us everything that gives us a crafting expertise buff, you can see that we have the engineer hat, shirt, gloves, legs, boots. We have the same for the weaponsmith. For arcanists, it's called concoctors, and then for jewel crafting, it's called mixers. Now, to make things a little bit more confusing, as if it wasn't already confusing enough, there are, in some cases, 2 different sets of each
You
type
receive
as
loot.
well.
Snap
So,
spider limb.
we have New World Database
You receive
open
loot.
here.
Small spider leg.
Already, there is the armorer shirt, and then there is also the armorer shirt as well. Now, they both give exactly the same buff. In the past, there was like one was cheaper or easier to get than the other. From what I can see these days, the armorer shirt just seems to be something that you can craft if you can get the recipe for it, which would come from armoring aptitude. The other one that's going to be more attainable actually drops from an enemy. So this armorer shirt here drops from the Siren's Fist. And then if you click on the Siren's
You
Fist,
receive
you
loot.
can see
Small spider
whereabouts
leg.
it is on the map, and then go take it down and hopefully get the drop that we're looking for. Now, you can buy these on the trading post as well. But yeah, in general, you are looking for, once again, the engineer hat all the way through to the engineer shoes. You're looking for the weaponsmith hat all the way through to the weaponsmith shoes. For Arcana, I think there's 2 different names of items, but I have the concoctus hat, again, all the way through to the shoes. And then for jewel crafting, we have the mixer set, and armoring, as we already covered, is the armorer set. Each one of these is going to increase your gear score crafting potential by 2 for a total of 10 extra gear score points. And the food is 15, so already just between these two, we're getting 35 extra to our gear score. Another quick and easy 5 extra points of gear score you get comes from your earrings. So there are earrings that you can get with these mastery perks on them. So we have armor mastery, engineer mastery, weaponsmith mastery. You guys get the idea. You can buy these off the trading post. You can craft them at the jewel crafter. It doesn't really matter what the gear score of the item is. It just has to have the perk on it. So yeah, don't be looking and thinking you need to get a 700 gear score version of this. Just whatever you can find, the cheapest thing you can make. Again, you can make them at the outfitting station under the jewel crafting section, or you can probably buy a cheap one off of the trading post, but you will need these 5 extra points of gear score as well. Now, the next step towards crafting 700 gear score items and getting all the buffs ready involves buying a house. Now, this is sadly one of the most expensive steps. It can be done somewhat cheaply, as it doesn't have to be an expensive house. Right now in New World, you have a Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4 house. This one that we're looking at right now is 10,000 gold. This is a Tier 2 house. 15,000 gold is Tier 3. 20,000 gold is Tier 4. And the lowest tier, Tier 1, is only 5,000 gold. Now, the first house that you buy in New World will have a 5,000 gold discount, which means you can get one Tier 1 house for free,
Snap
but you're
spider
still going to need to find a way to get another
You receive
10,000 gold
vicious
from
knife
other
spider venom.
2 Tier 1 houses in other settlements. Now, when it comes to making gold for those houses, I suggest checking out the gold guide. Links to that in the description down below as well. When it comes to houses, we will talk about this a little bit later on, so make sure you check out the next bit after this particular section in the guide, as I do believe there are good areas that you should buy a house in as well. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about why we need these houses. The first step is to put down trophies. So you will need 3 houses in total, because you need 3 sets of major trophies. So we have the major armoring trophy on the wall right now. We have the major weaponsmithing trophy. We have the major arcana trophy. And then if I go in with my remaining trophies over here, we should also have the major engineering. Now, jewel crafting, at least in this case, is rolled into armoring for whatever reason. So you don't need to worry about getting a jewel crafting trophy. Your armoring trophy covers both jewel crafting and armoring. And each one of these gives you +5 to the respective craft. So this is +5 to items that we make through Arcana. Armoring is +5 through armoring. If you open up your character's bio over here, you can see what trophies you currently have down. So I can see that in Windsward, I have a major armoring trophy. In Everfall, I have another one. And in Brimstone, I have another one. Now you might be saying, well, Baggins, why don't I just put 3 down inside my Brimstone house? You can't. Sadly, you can only have 1 trophy type down per house, so you can only have 1 armoring trophy in your Brimstone house. If you tried to put down another one, it'll say that you can't do that. So yeah, this is, like I say, it's an expensive step. These trophies you can make at the workshop, or you can buy from the trading post. If you do want to make them at the workshop, they go, it's like a Russian doll sort of thing, where if you want to make the major trophy, you need the basic trophy, and if you want to make the basic trophy, you need the minor trophy. So yeah, starting off with minor trophies, if we type that out, M-I-N-O-R, and then we make the minor arcana trophy, and then we go to basic. Let's see if we have the option to make any here. We don't, because I don't have any minor trophies in my inventory. And there's also an extra material that you need as well. So this can sort of be made easier, this whole process, just by using the tools in the game. So if we go to the trading post here and we type in major armoring crafting trophy, it tells you what you need down here below. So these are all the components that kind of go into it. So you can see we need precision armoring tools, which is a rare drop. You'll have to have these in your inventory. And then if we go back again and take a look at that, we will also need a basic armoring trophy. And the basic armoring trophy requires the minor one, and you also need this special material here as well, Armorer's Journal. Like I said, it is pretty complicated. There are a lot of steps that go into this, but the major trophies, unfortunately, aren't really negotiable. You will need to get these. And if you really want to go the whole hog, you can make them into ultimate trophies. But I think that's going to be a separate video. So again, I would recommend taking a look, breaking it down, taking a look at the materials on the trading post. Check out the written guide as well. We have all of the materials in there. But you are going to need 3 different houses, and then you go into your house, you can open up the crafting menu and put the trophies on the wall. In this case, for the demonstration, we're talking about armoring trophies, so you need to have a major armoring trophy down for each one of your 3 houses. Now the final step when it comes to increasing your max gear score, thankfully, is a town buff. Now this one is a little bit annoying in my opinion, because you don't really have any control over it whatsoever. So I have houses in Brimstone Sands, Everfall, and Windsward. Now the reason behind that we'll talk about in just a second, as we promised, but this my house in Brimstone Sands is, this company that owns Brimstone Sands is Legacy 2.0. Now the consuls and the governor of Legacy 2.0 can go to this special sort of interactable station here, and there's one of these in every town. It's called the Territory Planning Board, and from here they can set up lifestyle improvements. Now down here, this is what we're talking about. This is why it's important for crafting. So Weaponsmith Temperament is currently active for everybody who owns a house in this territory. Now this isn't just for Brimstone Sands, this is just like a buff that I get. So even if I'm not in Brimstone Sands, I still have the Weaponsmith Temperament buff. You don't get to see it on your hotbar, it isn't shown anywhere else, other than if we press, we go K and we go bio, we can see town project bonuses. I have Weaponsmith Temperament from my Brimstone house. In Windsward, we are currently receiving Armorer's Inspiration and Engineer's Patience, and then finally in Everfall, we have Armorer's Inspiration and Weaponsmith Temperament. Now these buffs don't stack, but each one does give you plus 5 gear score, so it's basically like having another major trophy on the wall. So if I wanted to make armor, I would need the Armorer's Inspiration. If I wanted to make a weapon, I would need the Weaponsmith's Temperament. If I wanted to do Arcana, sadly I don't think I can do it right now because we don't have the Arcana buff from anywhere. So we would just have to hope, maybe ask in global chat or just cross our fingers that one of the companies who owns either Windsward, Everfall, or Brimstone, because that's where I have my houses, goes ahead and sets the Arcanist Wisdom buff active.
Rest
It
your
doesn't
weary
cost too
bones
much
for a
in
spell.
terms of how much these companies make. But without this buff, you are going to be shy 5 gear score points, with the exception of something we're going to talk about right at the end of the video. So once again, just in case that was a little bit too confusing, you have to buy a house in an area, and then once you have that house, you receive buffs, lifestyle improvements from having the house in that said area. So my house in
Captured Mountaineer
Brimstone
says,
Sands is
I raise my
providing
brew and
me
hope to
with
be rid of the likes of you.
Temperament buff.
Cheers. You know good scoundrel.
And then
Forwarder.
the house that I own, if I went to the same territory planning board, we could see it there, but I could also just open it up from here. My house in Windsward,
You feel
once again,
rested.
is providing me with Armor's Inspiration, so we
create
get plus
light
5
letter.
to armoring, and then Engineer's Patience, so plus 5 to engineering. And I don't have to be in Windsward to take advantage of these. These are global buffs, but they are another piece of the puzzle when it comes to getting that 700 gear score crafting potential. Right, friends, so assuming that you've managed to complete all of the steps so far, you've got the armor, you've got the earring, you've got the food buff, and let's just go ahead and pop mine over here. We're gonna...
Okay, guys, I am done for the day. It has been 16 hours and 50 minutes, and I'm trying to make a little bit of an effort to try and flip my schedule, go to bed maybe at like 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, and try to get up a little bit earlier instead of like going from, I don't know, from 10 p.m. until 6 in the morning. But yeah, or until 10 in the morning kind of thing. And so I'm going to try and flip my schedule as I often do. And yep. And so I'm going to log here because there's no rested in this game. I wish there was, but there's no rested in this game. So And so I'm going to stop here, but just a reminder, this 16-hour and 15-minute session was recorded, and it will be placed on my YouTube channel. And I am skycat.live. My website is skycat.live. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. Come click on the cast face to donate, or come to my Twitch and my YouTube. Give me a like, sub, and follow if you like what you saw here. What happened today? I got played some Rust. I lost the level 17 character at like 5:30 in the morning because I didn't know about Polly, and I'm understanding how bad those clicky quests might be. So I'm gonna identify the clicky quests before they happen, where you have to reduce an elite down to something that you can actually fight. Those happen all the time, and I hate them. I always died to those. So yeah, and so, but I already have a level 11 rogue right back up, trying to catch up. It's gonna take a whole day to catch back to 17 again, but that's all right. I mean, that's all right. I look forward to the grind. Yeah, just shutting down all the games and stuff, get ready to go to bed and everything. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here, guys. Come click on the cast face to donate. It's a PayPal link. Come give me a like, sub, follow, or donate. And thank you so much for all of your support. I appreciate it. And I will see you in, several hours. And come check out, if you like this session, you can see it again on my channel, where there is thousands of videos. And thank you so much, and I love you guys, and that's all I have for you today. Take care. Love you. Bye. No.